Hello everyone, I am Adrenaline, the Bazooka Prophet. Welcome back to these exciting chemistry lessons. Now, have you ever wondered why sodium chloride becomes wet when exposed to the atmosphere? Have you also wondered why blue vitro, also called copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate, becomes wet or turns white when exposed to air? These processes are as a result of our today's chemistry lessons, talking about what we call the efflorescence, deliquescence, and hygroscopy. Now, in this video, we're going to be understanding what they are and their examples. Take note, these aspects are very useful and common in exam questions. Now we begin. Now, what are efflorescence? What are hygroscopic? And what are deliquescent? Now, these are phenomena. They are some compounds in chemistry that when they are exposed to the atmosphere, they either lose or they absorb. You should understand these dynamics of chemical compounds. Now, we move straight down to what we call efflorescence. Efflorescence is a phenomenon whereby a compound containing its water of crystallization, when it is exposed to the atmosphere, loses part or all of its water of crystallization to become what? Andros. Simple. They simply lose their water of crystallization when they are exposed to the atmosphere. We call such a phenomenon efflorescence, while the compound itself is called an efflorescent compound. Now, do not get it confused with what we call effervescence. They are not the same. Effervescence simply means a gas being bubbled out of a substance, a gas being effervescent or bubbled out. It should not be confused with efflorescence, which is the phenomenon whereby compounds loses their water of crystallization to become andros. A very good example is what we can see on the board. We have sodium carbonate decahydrate, popularly known as washing soda. We have sodium sulfate decahydrate, also called a global salt. Global salt. Sodium sulfate what now? Decahydrate. We also have copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate, also known as blue vitro. We have magnesium sulfate heptahydrate, also called Epsom salt. We have calcium sulfate dihydrate, also known as gypsum. We also have iron 2 sulfate heptahydrate, also called green vitro. All these are common examples of compounds that are able to lose their water of crystallization to become andros. When we say andros, we are simply saying it does not contain water of crystallization anymore. Andros, meaning it's become dried. Quickly, we move to these two concepts, hygroscopic and deliquescent compound. Now, these two phenomena, deliquescence and hygroscopic, they absorb water. They both absorb water. Take note, they both absorb water. But in the case of hygroscopic compound, they are compound that when they are exposed to the atmosphere, what happens? They absorb water, not enough to form a solution. Rather, they form moisture. Take note, they absorb water to form moisture, not solution. Is that clear? But in the case of deliquescent compound, they are compound that when they are exposed to the atmosphere, they absorb water. They absorb water to form a solution. And that is why I gave it a shortcut to be like this. Am and das, for easy remembrance in exam condition. Hygroscopic, they absorb water to form moisture. Deliquescence, absorb water to form solution. Das. And you should take note that hygroscopic compound and deliquescent compound are majorly used as a drying agent in the lab. Now, we take note of their example. Their example are somewhat confusing, but you must pay key attention to what I am saying in this video. Now, examples of hygroscopic compound, we have very common examples as we have sulfuric acid. Take note, sulfuric acid. We have phosphorus. What now? Phosphorus now, pentoside. Phosphorus pentoside. We have silica gel. We have glycerol. We have calcium oxide, also called quicklime. This is used to dry ammonia exclusively in the lab. We have zinc chloride. We have sodium nitrate. All these are examples of hygroscopic compound. Take note of the example. We have sulfuric acid. We have what now? Phosphorus pentoside. We have sodium nitrate. We have glycerol. We have quicklime. Now, examples of deliquescent compound are, take note, this compound, they form solution when exposed to the atmosphere. Examples are, we have calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and lastly, iron trichloride. Take note of these examples as they are very common in exam. Both WAEC, NECO, JAMB, IGCSE exams, and other levels. Now, I remember humble self and Adrenaline, the Bazooka Prophet. And if you need more further assistance, you can as well DM me with my WhatsApp number and I will respond to you swiftly and quickly. Thank you and God bless you.